Oh, there you are, YouTube. Hey everybody, today I'm going to rank every movie in the Child's Play franchise. The movies, right? But also, I need to say that we're talking about the Brad Dourif movies here. I haven't seen the remake with Mark Hamill and Aubrey Plaza. I haven't seen that. And I haven't watched the television show at all either. So again, no seasons from the series at all. We're just talking about the Brad Dourif movies. I recently marathoned them with my wife. I had only seen the first one before, back when I went to a babysitter. You know, there was always like an older kid there, and he was watching like horror films and things like that. So I watched the first Child's Play as a very, very young kid, and I found it very scary. And never revisited it, and never watched any of the sequels, except for I did catch a little bit of Bride of Chucky on a movie channel, but I didn't like sit there and watch it or anything. It was just like, you know, on as I was flipping channels. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to rank them here, and I should say this video is heavily inspired by my buddy Cody over at Dude Who Loves Movies. Chucky is like his favorite franchise, the Child's Play movies, and just like hearing him talk about Child's Play and the movies and looking at his collection, it just kind of inspired me to, hey, you know what, I need to watch all of these. I need to go back and watch all of these Child's Play movies and then do a ranking video. He suggested I do a ranking video, and it was like, yeah, you know, I should do that. So here we go. I'm gonna try and get through these. I wrote them down with a little bit of notes, and there are 7 of them. So starting at 7, Seed of Chucky. I'm sorry, I got to put that one at the end. It's the most different, and a lot of times I like meta movies, but because this one's extremely meta, like Jennifer Tilly is playing herself, and that makes more sense if you've seen all the movies in order, but you see Jennifer Tilly as herself, but obviously in the franchise she's already played Tiffany Valentine, so you know, things kind of get funny there. It kind of reminds me of like when Julia Roberts played a character in like the Ocean's movies who needed to act like she was Julia Roberts because they shared a likeness, that sort of thing. They're kind of playing around like that. It kind of reminded me of like Scream 3, you know, like Scream 3 kind of goes off the rails. It's like this one does too. It just, or even like Gremlins 2, you know, it's like you have this sort of normal franchise and then they just blow it up into something completely different. And I really loved Glenda, Gigi. They didn't bother me at all in this movie. In fact, I thought they were a fun addition. Plus, voiced by Pippin from Lord of the Rings. All of that was very cool. But I also kind of found the movie a little bit dull, and I think I was starting to miss the seriousness of the first 3 movies. So I don't know. I gotta put that one at the bottom, even though there are aspects of it that I like, but as a whole, I have to put it down there at the bottom. So now we move on to number 6. And number 6 is Cult of Chucky. And this one, so this one's very much tied to its previous movie, the previous film, which was Curse of Chucky. And because Fiona Dourif, Brad Dourif's daughter is in this one, and she first appears in the previous film. But anyway, so we're expanding on her story, and I really liked that aspect of it. Also, Cult of Chucky, you know, Chucky is a doll, right? He's this doll that they are mass producing, that has been mass produced. So it was only inevitable that they needed to have like an army of Chuckies come together to accomplish some goal. So that's what I liked about this one, is having the multiple Chuckies in a single movie. The hospital that we're in here is very artificial, sterile, not real, not of this world. So this one does have a very stylistic look to it, more so than those original ones. So this one doesn't necessarily feel like it belongs in our world, and when it does, it's like a stylized example of it. But I like the idea of lots of Chuckies, just because it is a mass-produced doll, you know, and that's something that I feel like is sort of missing in other toy movies, like Toy Story. They'll touch on it occasionally, like with Buzz Lightyear, when we did see, in Toy Story 2, the Isle of Buzz Lightyears and things like that. But it was cool to see it happen in this franchise. Number 5 is probably going to be a hot take, and I really, really apologize to Cody, to the dude who loves movies, because number 5 is Child's Play 2, and I know this one is your favorite. This is Dude Who Loves Movies' favorite, and I think it's his favorite movie of all time, too. I don't think it's just like his favorite horror movie or favorite Child's Play movie. Pretty sure it's his favorite movie of all time. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, this one, I think... as I was watching it, sometimes I was like expecting a little bit more. Like, you hear about the ruler scene. You've heard about that ruler scene in this movie, and I had just for years been building it up in my head. And I watched it and I was like, oh, that wasn't as cool as I was expecting. I thought it was going to go harder. And it didn't really. It felt pretty mild. So, I don't know. That was kind of disappointing to see, because I know that's just like such a talking point among fans and just like the culture. Everybody knows about that, the ruler scene, even if you hadn't seen the movie. What else? I got some other notes here. Oh, yeah. I thought Andy, when he comes back from, he's, the main kid from the first movie, he comes back in this one, and I feel like his acting chops just like expanded. Like he was so much better at performing than in the first film. His performance was so much better, I thought. He did well. He did well. Really cool kills outside of the ruler one also, like the stairwell scene. I thought that one was pretty good. That one was like, ooh, I think I kind of, did that a little bit. I did like that. Also with Child's Play 2, I really loved the opening, the rebuild of Chucky. That was really good. And then also the ending. I like the way he goes out. I like the way, or just the idea of it anyway, like the hot, plastic melting him, all of that. I thought that was really cool. And then he kind of looks like this gross mess at the bottom, and just everything that was sort of happening in the factory at the end was just really cool to see. But yeah, unfortunately, that one is number 5. And then we go to number 4, which is Curse of Chucky, and I liked this one because it was a return to sort of the seriousness found within the early films. I mean, obviously there's comedy in all of these and camp in all of these, but we went so far with Seed of Chucky that it was nice to come back to something a little more grounded. And what's really great about this one is it feels like a haunted house movie. We're in this like old, I don't know, probably Victorian era home, and it's like really fancy, and Chucky's in there. Oh, and also this is the first time we're introduced to Fiona Dourif. She's the Brad Dourif's daughter in real life, and she plays the main character in this movie. So that was cool, seeing father and daughter acting, voice work and life acting through her. But yeah, we're in this old home, and Chucky's sort of functioning like a ghost in a lot of ways, and it's like coming around corners and things like that. It's a lot of different things. It's still a Child's Play movie. It also feels like a ghost film just because of the character all within the house, just that old feel. And then it's also like a home invasion movie. Chucky, sends himself to this house and then does what he does. So I really like that aspect of it, and it felt like we were sort of shifting into adjacent horror genres, which I really liked. And my number 3 could be surprising because Seed of Chucky was at the end of my list. Well, number 3 is Bride of Chucky, and I kind of liked it because we shifted to like extra comedy, and we had Chucky sort of taking center stage. He was the star of the movie. It's no longer like Andy's movie. It didn't feel like it was someone else's movie. It really did feel like Chucky's movie, and I thought that was great. It was a lot of fun to hear Brad Dourif just really exercise that voice and use it for that character. I thought all of that was great, and I did like the additional humor. I love the introduction of Tiffany Valentine, both as Jennifer Tilly and the doll. The live-action character and the doll. All of that was great. She was a really awesome addition to the franchise, and I like how she shows up in a lot of the other ones. Again, Seed of Chucky, I guess I have issues with, but where she shows up in the other ones for those brief moments is really great. So I don't know. I thought this one was really nice because it was funny and a really great change of pace from the first two. It was like trying to reinvent itself, and I think it did a successful job of that. It's kind of like when, you know, the Fast and the Furious franchise, you watch the first movie and the second movie, they're very different. The first movie is like a heist, you know, sort of Point Break movie, and then the second one is like a buddy cop movie, and then the third one is like completely new cast, and then the fourth one's maybe, I don't know, similar to the first one, I guess, maybe not, I don't know, but the fifth one, you know, is like a robbery movie. I don't know, it was just, that's kind of what I liked about this one. It really changed things up, and it did feel like a really nice change of pace. Okay, my second favorite Child's Play movie is Child's Play 3. I thought this one was great. Just like how Seed of Chucky sort of changed the pace in terms of tone, this one changes the pace in terms of location, I felt like. And we also, we jump ahead in time. So that's a big change of pace. Andy has grown up. He's like a teenager, young teenager, and he's at like a military academy for kids, or, you know, young teenagers or whatever. And I thought that was all really fun. It reminded me of Taps, that movie with like Tom Cruise and Sean Penn and everybody. That was that's kind of where my mind went. It was like if you took Taps and threw Chucky into the mix. I thought that all of that was really fun. And the kid who's playing grown-up Andy, I can't remember his name, the actor's name, but he was like Jimmy Olsen on Lois and Clark. That's where I know him, and also Serial Mom. I remember him from Serial Mom, but I don't see him too much today. Not sure if he's still acting, but it was really cool to see him because I did no clue that he was in this. Like, this movie, I knew very little about. I didn't even know it was going to be in this military location, but I really liked it. It was a fun change of pace, and I don't know. All of that was just great and fun. The location, seeing him, Chucky running around there, was funny a lot of the times, but it was also great. And the humor and the seriousness was all really well mixed, and I liked the carnival setting at the end. That was really great, and the way, you know, Chucky's demise was wonderful as well. I don't know. I like this movie a lot. I thought it was great. And number one, my favorite Child's Play movie, just squeaking in the number one spot because I did love the third one so much, is the original Child's Play. And you have to give it to that one because that's where we get all of the lore, and I just like that sort of thing when I'm watching movies. Like, the first movie is usually always my favorite just because we're learning about this world, we're developing this world, we're developing the characters and the situations. And I like that we get Brad Dourif, like, in his human form, watch that transition from his human body to the doll body, and then we learn how it's even possible, because they really don't give you any inkling at the beginning that this is even something he's capable of doing until, like, you're like, why is this even happening? I don't understand why this is happening. And then you get it at the, you know, later in the movie, why he has this ability, where he learned this ability and all of that. And that's what I really like about this film is the lore and what makes it all possible. All of that was really good. And again, this is one I first watched when I was a little kid at my babysitter's. Her son had it on, and all us little kids were watching it, and that was my introduction. And I remember soon after Rugrats came out, and they had that, you know, character named Chucky, and I was like, how can they do this? And why would they still make him redheaded and just kind of looking like the Chucky doll? Why would they do that? I don't get it. But yeah, I got to give it to this one. It's the original, and it's building that world, and I love that. So yeah, that is my ranking of the Chucky movies. I really appreciate you all watching this. Again, a lot of these were, actually all of them, but one was a first time watch. My wife, first time watch for all of them, and she fell asleep through most of them. She might have fallen asleep through all of them. I think she may have made it through all of the first one, but she didn't care too much about these. But I don't know, it was fun watching her fall asleep to these movies. But yeah, thank you, Cody, for, you know, bringing like Chucky back into my life. I don't know if I would have gone through all of his films maybe eventually down the road, but you sped up that process, and I appreciate it. Everybody go check out Dude Who Loves Movies. Love that channel. Cody's a great guy, good friend, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.